Well, good morning, Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, and today is September the 21st, 2025, at approximately 11:40 a.m., and I am in the new digs at Onalaska, Texas, right near Lake Livingston. I'm within a half a mile at the most, from Lake Livingston. Lake Livingston is this large freshwater body lake, and on Alaska, if you were to look between Livingston in the east and Huntsville in the west along US 290, you'll see Lake Livingston and Onalaska, Texas, as Highway US 190 runs right through it, and it sits right on the tip, Onalaska does, on this tip of a peninsula, and the highway goes across it, and there's two parts of the lake, one on the east, one on the west, and there's two bridges, and and it's really a nice location, and so we got a piece of land and have been trying to clean it up. I think it's going to be the death of me. I feel like Paul Bunyan and early settlers coming in and cleaning out the land and rooting out all the roots, and it's just an endless job. But it's giving me something to do. And try and make it nice for us. And so anyway, with that said, Sunday, September 21st, there is a large memorial funeral for Charlie Kirk in Phoenix today. It's being televised. It's at I think it's the State Farm Stadium in Phoenix, and it's being televised at least by Real America's Voice, RAV television. And if you don't watch that, let me encourage you to find it. Most of the streaming services provide it free of charge. Pluto, Samsung TV, Roku TV, a lot of different places provide it free of charge, including also they include it bundled in their built-in free services on the newer televisions. I say newer, at least for the last 10 years. These what they call smart TVs that have these where you can add apps to the application bar at the bottom. Press the button on the remote, and up comes this application bar, and you get your Amazon and your Netflix and your Pluto and your whatever else that you want to add. And amongst that collection of channels is Real America's Voice, and that's where you can find people formerly like Charlie Kirk. Most especially, in my opinion, is Stephen K. Bannon and War Room. And then there's others as well, like Jack Posobiec and others that have television programs on Real America's Voice. Anyway, they're broadcasting the funeral and memorial service today. In the background, you might hear some light music playing. I put on some light Christian music. You might say in tribute or a memorial to Charlie Kirk. I hope it's not copyrighted. We'll find out. All this stuff. All right, let's get on with the shave. Got a nice cup of Folgers 1850 Black Gold. I'm drinking out of my Lake Tahoe cup. And you may remember, go back and look at the videos from 3 years ago or so, and you'll see that Lake Tahoe trip that my wife and I made and turned it into a 5-day stay at a real nice hotel. And in the winter, and I did an outdoor shave in sunshine on this side and blizzard on this side, and so that was fun. Today is day number 4 of whiskers, and so I've got quite a stand of whiskers on my face, and we're gonna take those off. We're relaxing this week and taking time off from all the work that we have been engaged in around the property here. And of course, my wife is still working. I had my shower last night. I had my haircut last night. And so I've got to do an especially good job of pre-shave preparation, which really, you'll see how that, I mean, already just with a little one, and it's not even piping hot. It's warm, it's quite warm in fact, but it's not piping hot. And just with that little rub that you saw right there, I can feel already with my hands that the whiskers have softened up considerably, at which they will do even more. Let's see, I'm going to end with the razor, but I'll begin with the soap. Is Sterling Soap Company's Arcadia, very lovely grapefruit citrus scent to it. Yeah, just absolutely lovely. This is my 3rd usage in a row of this. I've had at least 2 shaves in the intervening period since my last video, which was about 8-9 days ago. Sorry about that. Been busy. I think I mentioned, 2-3 videos back, it was the chainsaw, right? So I'm out on the property playing with a new chainsaw. Now it's a new table saw, DeWalt job site, 10-inch, and it's lovely. These things will just blow your mind as far as, oh, now I can do this, and then you start playing with it, trying to figure out, well, I don't really know how to do that. I've got to figure out how to do that. Like, I want to build a workbench, which I understand that's something that a lot of guys want to do when they get a table saw. They want to build a workbench. And I've got plenty, let me tell you, I've got plenty of lumber laying around from the different projects that we've had here, especially with the addition of the front porch and the back porch. And I don't think I'm going to have enough to build up. I'm going to have to go buy some more, but I've got. And so now that gets you into joints. And I'm going to do a 4x8 workbench. And it's largely going to be outdoor. So I can't use OSB or MDK type of board because the weather will destroy it. So I'm going to go plywood and probably put a veneer laminate over the top of it, and that's all. And then you got the legs. I got plenty of 4x4 to put 4-6 legs on it. It's just going to be, and then to join that to the 2x4s that are going to be the runners for the stability and the cross pieces. And do I go straight runners or I do diagonal runners? It's all and the joints. For a lack of a better, there's woodworking joints that you can use. I'm going to call them Amish joints, where they're just the cut and you put them in together. Yes, I see one guy puts these lag bolts into them to make them hold even stronger, but I'm going to need something, not so much a need, but I'm going to want something strong and durable because it's largely going to be an outdoor And I dare say that the weather over and the heat expanding, contracting over the next few years outdoors is going to have its impact on the wood. And it's going to be, a white wood or a pine, southern yellow pine, probably. I'm sounding like I know something. All right, Arcadia, grapefruit, very nice. The brush this morning is the Sterling Soap Company. I just love this. It's the only boar bristle brush that I recommend. This is made by Zenith, and they're almost anything that Zenith makes, I'll recommend. But this one especially, it's 31 millimeter knot. It's got a handle on it, fit for a monster. And I just love this brush. And it's a special, you can't find these except in very certain special. I see Greg Gallant has something that looks kind of purple or bluish, green, not green, but purple or blue. Built along this same size, and so special application, special order, like a group thing. And I think his came along with a Reddit group thing. But just being able to go onto Zenith's website or distributors and find this size in another color or application, you just can't do it. And so around Thanksgiving and Black Friday, keep your eyes open for this brush from Sterling. Last 2 years, this came out a year ago, or what will be 2 years come Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And they've got the 31 millimeter, and then I think it's a 28 millimeter. And this 31 comes in at about $50, and the other one is like $48. And so I actually have two of these. One's still brand new in the box in my cabinet right there. All right, let's put that back in the water to soak for the fun of it. And then my my razor is one that a lot of beginners will get, and it's not very expensive. It's made by Dovo. It's the beautiful Bismarck. You can see the gold. This is my first or second new production razor that I got 10 years ago when I started into straight razor shaving. And I learned to hone and shave on gold dollar razors. I've largely retired those. I got them right there. I don't even hardly look at them anymore. And then I started, once I got enough confidence in this one, and then I've got a Thiers Assard that I've got. Those were my first two modern production purchases, and this was honed up on a conical. And Dovo has a reputation for being compared to Thiers Assard, a slightly softer steel. And so I understand that the softer steels take to the conical stones very well, and I've never had a problem with this, or my conical for that matter, but never had a problem with this razor. So with that all said, let's do my face one more time with a hot rag. And I'm gonna hurry. I'm not gonna hurry, but I'm gonna take my time, do a good shave. But my wife has got the Charlie Kirk funeral on and memorial. In the living room. And so I wanna get done with my shave. I think she's making breakfast too, because I smelt the bacon. Bacon. All right, there's that, the brush. I just wanted to tell people that that I usually watch who make videos: Greg Gallant, Cajun Blade, Sean Staplefeld, Dapper Shave, Jock in South Africa, Martin Shaved, Test Shaves. I'm watching you guys. I'm just not commenting like I used to because I'm so busy. And I'm usually watching you guys on the big screen television. And the ability to come back and comment, I'd have to get my phone. No offense, but it's usually late at night. I'm laying in bed watching. Now, what I'm going to do, making sure that my whiskers are well hydrated and prepped, of course, I do this all the time, and you see me in my videos do my, Jock, Dapper Shave, and others call it poor man's pre-shave. And you just take the lather and rub it in, and massage this face real good. And it does, it feels nice. Feel like you're pampering yourself, And then what I do, because you got a lot of lather on your hands, and I'm not just going to wash that off and rinse it away. No, I'm going to do what I can to collect it all up and put it right back onto the top of the brush. And there's only so far you can go, and so you're going to eventually have to rinse your hands to get all the soap off, because you want to handle your razor with dry hands, right? So the soap's got to go once you get it down so far. So I guess you could call this I don't make a big deal out of doing a Sunday shave, but this is a Sunday shave, and I certainly have the whiskers. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to record this morning is I don't usually get so far along that I have 4 days worth of whiskers on my face, but I was going to shave yesterday, but my wife and I decided to go fishing. I said to my wife, we've been up here now for 3 months, 2 months. I was laid off from my job on June the 25th. And since then, we've been working very hard on this property. And quite honestly, before we ran out of money, and get this place up to speed to where we wanted it. I'm going to go with that. It's probably a little thicker than, no, let's give it a couple more. Now, I have heard some people talk about their brushes, and to me, it's just a lot of silly, stupid talk about soaking their brushes. And that's one reason why people prefer synthetic brushes, because you just dip and go. Really? From the time that I filled my water bowl or my basin and put my rag and my brush down into the basin, to the time that I strop my razor, the brush is fine. Now, and I would be fine with a badger brush, just doing what you might call a dip and go as well. Maybe less so with a badger brush, knowing how the water collects and is used by the bristles, the boar bristles, almost like a quill. I may not be scientific in saying that, but the way it soaks, they soak up, the boar soaks up the water. And so it does take a second, but my goodness, you can take 2 sips of coffee from your coffee cup and be ready with a boar. So it's just a bunch of silly talk about, yeah, you gotta, there's preparation to the brush. Really? All right. So with as many whiskers or days of growth I've got on my face today, I'm going to start with the I forgot the guy's name that works with Maestro Livy, the barber that I credit with teaching me to do this upstroke. Because that bottom inch right here is generally with the grain before it gets into the other part. I don't know if you've ever seen their videos. Luigi, Barber Luigi. And every time Maestro Livy would have a shave, it would be Maestro or Barber Luigi that would come in and give it to him. And they're fun to watch, but you can't hardly find their videos anymore. So we went fishing yesterday, right here on Alaska, on a shore, bank fishing. And we got up about 6 o'clock, 6:30 to head out. Now, quite frankly, it's my wife that just loves to fish. And I sat there watching videos on table saws and building workbenches most of the day. And I can't call it a wildly successful day. We never catch hardly any fish from the bank, from the shore. And I keep telling my wife, you're not going to get the fish unless you get out to where the fish are. You got to get out in the water. Not that I want to buy a boat, but my stepdaughter and her husband have a boat. Now, they don't live here. They live in Dallas. So we tried 3 or 4 different locations around the lake, and we were out on the lake in the morning at about 7:30, having gotten up at approximately 6:15, 6:30 yesterday morning, and we got home at about 5 o'clock last night. So we had a full day. I was tired and hot. I'm not real friendly toward hot heat and humidity. Now, yesterday wasn't exactly a scorching day for Southeast Texas. It was about 92 degrees, a fair amount of humidity, and that saps the strength out of it. I just don't like it. Never have. And I've always, when I came home from a load, truck driving, I was not the kind of guy to just run right out and do something outside, unless my wife had something prepared for me to do, yard work or go shopping at a flea market or something. And knowing that I'd only be home generally until those last couple of years, that I'd be home only for 24 to 48 hours. I would generally take a shower, watch some movies for a day, and oftentimes from bed, because I like laying in the bed. I like the comfort of soft sheets. And, then I do my shower and shave, record, and the phone call would come for my next load. And I probably, at the end of that, you get in one day and you're home by 2, 3 o'clock. The second day you get up, watch a couple movies, do your shave, and then usually by that same night you're back in the truck to prepare for the load the next morning. With a load, an early load time, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. Or in some cases, even earlier with that last company I worked for, we were, at 3 o'clock, 3 a.m. 0300. This Bismarck is a wonderful razor from Dovo. I've heard people talk about it. It don't matter. It really doesn't matter. The Dovo's geometry and workmanship, craftsmanship. I've never had a problem. I know others have, but I also understand listening. The Cajun Blade. His most recent video, he really let some of these guys have it. He said, and good for him. And of course, Jared Connerty at the Superior Shave is always blasting some of these guys, and Bill M blasting some of these guys about the arrogance of some of these people on the forums. Okay, yeah, I agree. That's why. Shaving forums ought to be about shaving and the enjoyment of the process. And talking about the accoutrements, razors, brushes, soaps, strops, etc. I'm really enjoying this, and this is the way I'm using it, yeah, in very wide context, there's a right and a wrong way. You don't shave a razor on a red brick, for example. No, that's not the way to do that. And it's okay to say so. Yeah, you're going to ruin that razor real quick. So they shouldn't, don't be, well, I'll just say I agree with Cajun Blade, Eric's comments from a recent video. I think I watched it yesterday. Some guy was trying to tell him he was doing something wrong, and I could just see how that did. I could just visualize Eric having none of it, and good for Eric. Now, I've never made any secret that I'm a Christian, I'm conservative. What's happened to the Charlie Kirk assassination is outrageous, could easily become the basis of a shooting civil war. Hope not, but we're not. And so we should focus on straight razor, shaving, wet shaving issues, fine, and stay away from generally politics unless you announce yourself as, yes, I'm Christian, I'm conservative, and I will talk about these things. You can either like it or not like it and go elsewhere or watch and don't give me this crap about you're so obviously wrong. Obvious to who? I just love these guys that write me sometimes that it's so obviously wrong. To who? And I got something to say on that. So unless you announce, now if you're a big forum that's trying to appeal to a wide range of people, you don't let people get away with talking about and advocating San Francisco values when you've got Midwest people with Midwest values who are opposed to San Francisco values and will tell you in a heartbeat, don't do that. Don't do that. That's why I'm not a part of some of these forums myself. I'm not going to argue over what's right, what's wrong, biblically speaking. And that's really where my values come, worldview. It's all, and this is where I wanted to make comment in light of the Charlie Kirk thing. These people that are the professors and so forth that are making favorable comment to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, there's no way that such a thing is acceptable. Legally, murder is murder. Assassination is assassination. Now, I've heard it said that politics is war by other means. And that's why we have politics. And I think it was Thomas Jefferson said the reason we needed government is because the better angels of our nature are not in control. I'm paraphrasing that idea, but. And you read John Adams, and John Adams was very much in favor of a quote-unquote Christian oriented government and laws and values. Edmund Burke took note that the reason that America was good is because she was good, that she was moral. And she was moral because of Christian values, or biblical values, if I can say it that way. So, worldview. Once you turn loose of the Bible as your mooring, and I use that in the nautical boating sense, mooring, then you're adrift, or you're being guided by some other lights than biblical. And so worldview, Christian worldview, biblical worldview, secular worldview, atheistic worldview, there's all kinds of worldviews. And quite frankly, those are the kind of reasons and are the kind of things. When we talk about the old Soviet Union and their socialist, we always add the word atheistic communism, because communism can't be anything other than communist. Yeah, cheating strokes right there. They're not exactly against the grain, but not exactly across the grain either. lovely scent on the soap. That grapefruit just stands out. I thought the music video was going to go to a commercial. No, it just said, "Are you still watching?" Yep, please let it play. That's good stuff right there. That's the last of it. I may have to have another cup of coffee. Okay, I know. Advanced against the grain. All right, speaking of which, against the grain. And this lather's getting a little thick, so I'm going to add some water. Oh, my wife's talking to somebody on the phone. I can hear her talking. She got a big family, brothers and sisters. I recently decided or made the decision that I was going to do my against the grain right hand only. Right side of the face traditionally is a left-handed move, and that's good and fine, you know. And I've done it for years, just like that. But not that it's awkward anymore, because I've been using left hand now for deliberately made myself learn to use the left hand and have done so for 10 years. But I prefer, because I was always coming back with the right hand and doing this over, what I call an overhand move. And so I didn't particularly find any advantage in doing two different sets of strokes. Left-handed, traditional, right-handed, overhand stroke. And so I dropped the left hand and went with the overhand, because I seem to be, to me, to have more positive effect for the shave. Oh yeah. Okay. Phantom whiskers, they're now gone when the skin dries up and the pores close. And all right. Yeah, that's pretty good. It'll change in 4 days anyway. All right, I think that's it for the face shave. Let's move on to the head shave. And let me dry this off and wipe it off with a dry rag, my finishing rag, you might call it. I'm going to set that aside. All right. So I told my wife last night, we're getting ready for bed after we came back from fishing and got cleaned up and had our showers and so forth and had something to eat. She starts talking about what we're going to do today. And I said, hold on. Today was your day. And we went fishing. We sat alongside the lakes, the different places we went to, 3 or 4 different locations. And I said, tomorrow's my day. We're going to sleep in, no alarms, turn off your phone, and I said, we're going to watch. I said, if you want to make breakfast, that's great. If you don't, we'll figure it out. Which I smelt some bacon earlier, so I guess we're having bacon and eggs, which I just absolutely love. Bacon and eggs. Anyway, we're going to watch TV, either up in bed or out in the living room. It don't matter. I like I said, I like my comforts. I am not an outside guy when it's hot. That's why I ended up a truck driver sitting in a cab with a working air conditioner. When my life turned, when I was struggling to try and figure out what to do after ministry work, pastoral work became, that was a hard transition. I mean, and it still affects me even today after these 25 years out, to think about how much time and money and energy was wasted. And I say wasted, I don't regret the education and the processes that I went through. But that is to say, the educational processes, the learning process. What I resent the heck out of is that it's kind of like being Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, having your life taken from you when you're just really getting started. And I was about 35, 38 years old when I went through some of the things that I went through that had irrevocable impact. But what do you do? So I'm using a George Wostenholme pre-1891. I know that because it says Sheffield and not Sheffield, England. I don't know what size this was originally, and I know you can't see it, the stamp on the tang, but there's one there, and it's legible. You might need a magnifying glass, but it's legible. And I don't know what size this blade was originally. I don't know if it was a big 8/8 or a 7/8 or a 6/8. I don't know what it was, or 5/8. It's clearly been ground down over the years. It may have started out as a 5/8, I don't know. And when I got it, you can see from the patina and the spots, the dark spots, that it was fairly corroded with rust. And I took my sandpaper, wet dry sandpaper, and sanded it down. And I did as far as my experience level would allow me to go. But once I had the rust off, I used the wet dry sandpaper up to 3,000, I think it was, 3,000 grit. Ooh, I gotta see who my wife's talking to. She's animated. She's loud and animated. And believe me, she can get loud. She's got 2 daughters. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4 sisters. She's got a brother. And so between all of them, and she usually talks to them, each once or twice a month. And that's fine and good. I don't have much of a family, and so I don't resent being a part of the family at all. No, I have to get close up to the mirror. After I've had a haircut like last night with the clippers, I've got to get, and the hair is so short, I can barely see it. And I want to get my lines as straight as possible, so I got to step up to the mirror. I'm just moving kind of slow. I realize I'm taking a bit of a long time here on the video, and I'm not going to edit it down. And so if you want to move along, 1.5, 2.0, the speed, that's fine. What you don't need to do is to write me and tell me, your videos are too long. I know, and I don't care. I don't know why people think they got to talk like that. As if they're telling me something I don't already know. Like, my videos are too long. I don't care. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for people who actually enjoy watching. Okay? Like, there might be a few of you out there. That's a pack of back of the neck hairs, I will tell you. I'm gonna go ahead and put the brush into the water, let it start soaking to rinse it out here in a little bit. Because get the goodies out and let the goodies have one last chance on my face to do some positive good. All right. I'm going to do a final rinse here. I'm going to apply some alum block, Osma alum block. Oh. Let's do this as we finish the head shave. All right. Let's dry it off using the dry rag. Well, that feels pretty good. Yeah, nothing outrageous. No severe sting of any sort. I need to get some more. I think I've got one. No, I got what looks like 2 Allen blocks in reserve. And I shouldn't fuss. I have dropped them before, and they do fracture very easily when you drop them. All right, let's see now. Let's go ahead and all right, I'm going to swap out my, not now, but I'm going to put the Arcadia away and pull up the next one in rotation out of my shelf over here. No, I have to use this bowl as my shaving bowl. I've got a sink here. It's completely and thoroughly inadequate for me. And so I was furious that I ended up having to do this. But it works. I really need a bigger bowl, is what that boils down to. I've got good counter space. I have a horrible sink, so I use the bowl, but I got good space and I got a good mirror. The lighting's okay. All right, where am I going next? Here, okay. So we had the grapefruit. And I'm going to use this George Trumper extract of limes skin food. Just a little bit, don't need a lot. Because there's other stuff's going to go on top of it. And this is just the first layer. And I can't say that I'm any real expert on, am I doing this in the right order? I don't really know what goes on first, what goes on second, what goes on third. And so I kind of just follow my own instinct is what I do there. And so because it's got the citrus smell to it, and the citrus theme, I'm going to go with Lucky Tiger as a tonic. Putting this on first, Ozma, Allen Block, then the lime, George Trumper. Then I'm going to do this on top of the balm. It smells wonderful. The Lucky Tiger, that is. Put that away over here in my... All right, I'm going to let this dry for a second. I'm going to get my powder set up. Panade, lime sec to complete the citrus theme. And so that's that, and feels great. After my showers here lately, I've been using the Clubman Panade powder. I've got 5 or 6 of those things. I bought a bunch 2 or 3 years ago, realizing that I better start using it, or whatever. And so I've been using this after a shower as a body, underarms, other areas of my body, and I've really been enjoying the powder on my body after a shower. Anyway, so there's that, but I'm also using it as just dip the tips, just tap out, because I don't want it to go everywhere like we used to. Remember those? Hey Bill, you remember those powder bomb videos we used to make? Like that. Look at it. You see that? That's what I'm talking about. That's a powder bomb. And if I was sitting in a barber's chair in a barber shop, that'd be fine. But in my bathroom, not so fine. Because all of this needs to be cleaned up. That's all right. On the floor, on the cabinet, no worries. All right, let's see. I think that's it. I think I'm done. Thank you for staying with me. Yeah, a horribly long video, but thank you for staying with me, and I'll see you down the road.